All right, we're back with another episode. So excited to have a fitness all-star expert specialist. I don't know what to refer to you as quite yet, but because I know you're so amazing and do so many things in the fitness space. So I'm proud to introduce guest number three. So is it Sarah Ford Bishop? Sarah Bishop? What
So
are we going?
legally, I'm still Sarah Ford, but
Okay.
I will be taking Bishop. So Sarah Bishop, Sarah Ford Bishop, whatever, Sarah Bishop for short.
And then I'm so excited to bring you on because you just launched your own brand recently, which is pretty amazing. So it's Sarah Bishop Fitness, correct?
That's correct. Yeah. So online coaching, online nutrition and training coaching. I was with a team, and then in October started my own coaching business. So very excited, for 2021 to kind of go have a full year of that.
Awesome.
Um,
So, well, that's a great kind of transition into starting out. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and kind of what you do in relation to the fitness community, and how you're helping people.
Sure, yeah. So I have my master's in exercise science from the University of South Florida. And what I do as a coach, so a lot of like it's a very trendy kind of job on social media, but what I do is nutrition and training coaching. It's all online. I don't see anyone in person right now. I've trained people in person in the past, but right now it's all I write, workout programs for people, and they send me videos sometimes to critique form, but I'm not there obviously in person training people. And then nutrition coaching. So all my clients, they have a check-in day. So it's weekly check-ins. And, I adjust their nutrition program and their training, appropriately based on their needs. Sometimes the change is no change, because what you're doing is working, and it's really just time that we need. So yeah, I pride myself in being a evidence-based practitioner. So I take the research as well as my experience in the field and the unique needs of my client to form their programming and protocols.
Which is interesting, and I love how you mentioned your master's degree, because I feel like a lot of times with fitness, it's hard to tell with the Facebook marketing and Instagram marketing that some people do, who's kind of the real deal and who's not, because I feel like a lot of people are see these gimmicks of lose 10 pounds in a few weeks, or and then it's just somebody that has some form, a nutrition plan that they hand out to everybody, form workout plan that they hand out to everybody, that they sell in packages for, a couple bucks, and that's it. And it seems like you really are the real deal in the fact that you identify your clients' needs, and then assist them, based on those, rather than just like, hey, kind of give this a try, and let's see what happens, and I'll check in with you once a week, so.
Yeah, exactly. Like I like to like people ask me like what's your coaching philosophy, and I don't really have like one style of coaching because it kind of changes a little bit based off the client, right? Not everyone is going to, benefit from the same kind of protocols and different, ways of doing things. So, yeah, if anyone's selling you like a supplement or you have to have one shake a day kind of thing, I don't know, be a little skeptical, right?
That's good advice. Yeah, good to know. So, how did you get involved in fitness? I mean, obviously, it's a passion industry. I'm sure. It's definitely not easy to get involved in with now. I'm sure so much competition than there was even years ago. So, kind of tell your journey a little bit, how you got involved.
Yeah, so growing up, I mean, always, played sports, basketball and track were kind of my two biggest things, and horseback riding. And I developed anorexia when I was 14, 15 years old. Got pretty bad and had to go to an inpatient treatment center. And, I was always into, health, and, I thought I wanted to be a doctor growing up or nurse. But when I was in treatment, I worked with a dietitian, and through working with her, I learned so much about proper nutrition. And oh, wow, carbs aren't bad. And if I'm a runner and I, want to be the athlete that I say I want to be, I need to eat these carbs to, benefit my performance, right? So, that's just one example, but learning more about nutrition was a huge part of my recovery. So, when I got to college, it kind of was, I was originally on a nursing track, but kind of realized that I wanted to help people before they ended up, in kind of a state where they needed, the hospital system, or, kind of help people with their vanity goals, whatever. I think we can have vanity goals in a, healthier way. So that's why I, decided to kind of pursue my master's degree in this. And yeah, and really just, education is kind of like my biggest thing, as a coach. Because that's really what's going to make the change. I could tell you what to do all day long, but if I don't tell you why, or, I don't think that everyone is going to have a coach until they're 90 years old, right? I want you to get to a point where, you can do this on your own, stress-free kind of thing.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, and I think it's so important to, like you said, educate people because, I feel like if they don't know why they're doing something, it's going to be so much harder to convince them to do it. And I'm sure
Right.
you've seen that.
Yeah, you want to build that autonomy, like we're adults, I don't need to baby you, but you got to be able to implement it yourself, right?
And then, of course, with the nutrition side, and from what I heard, obviously, that's more important almost than even the exercising and things. And you see all these like keto diets and these crash diets that people do, and 1,200 calories a day and stuff. And I've seen some of your posts in the past where it's like, you go on this like 1,200 calorie diet a day, and yeah, you lose weight super quickly, and then as soon as you fluctuate, which is, nobody wants to eat that little for a consistent basis, and I'm sure it's not even good for you. And then people go back to eating somewhat normal, or even increase their intake, and then gain weight quickly, maybe worse, etc. So I'm sure through what you've learned in teaching people, you can have a comfortable diet where you're eating 1,800 2,000 calories a day, whatever, but it's more based on what you're putting in your body, rather than how much, to some extent.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's all about, making this sustainable, and when we do diet, dieting smart, so that, we don't, end up in that place where we're, at 1,200 calories and suddenly, can't eat more than 1,300 calories without gaining weight, right?
Yeah.
Which some people do find themselves in that situation.
So can you kind of, and we've kind of touched on it, this is probably, being reiterated, but, so what do you do in the fitness industry specifically? So it sounds like there's a lot of different, kind of hats you wear. So, there's fitness coach, there's nutrition advice, kind of break that down for us.
Yeah, I would say therapist too a little bit. No. So a lot of what I
Of
do is,
course.
yeah, I mean
It's
it's
hard, it's
coaching.
stressful. I mean, it's not a fun thing to go through. Nobody wants to be, probably most of your clients are not super thrilled when they're coming to you,
Right. I
to
mean,
an
you're not
extent.
happy, right? Or, you're what you're doing isn't really working. Even if like I have some clients that maybe they're coaches themselves even. I have a couple clients, but it's, as humans, even, that's why I have a coach. We just overthink, or we think it's hard to be objective with yourself, right? So, that's where I can come in. But, I don't just help people with fat loss, right? I do help people with losing weight, but I also help people, looking to build muscle, or I help people just looking to make a lifestyle change. Or, like we talked about before, people that have found themselves in this place where they've crash dieted or yo-yo dieted for years, and we need to kind of build up their metabolism. It's not that your metabolism is broken, right? It's that it's kind of slowed down because you've told it to. You've told it that, hey, we only need this many calories, right? So we have to kind of, kind of slowly rebuild that. So a lot of different things that I do. I also have I just started a podcast myself. I forgot to tell you that earlier, but so just getting education,
What's that
out
called?
there.
You got to shout it out. What's the podcast
Yeah,
called?
it's called Unfiltered Fitness Radio.
Okay.
So real talk nutrition training, and it's on iTunes and Spotify.
Okay.
And then also just on Instagram, I try to, educate, as much as I can on there and on that, platform.
That's great. Yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned that because, I think a lot of people only contact a fitness coach or a nutrition coach because they're like they think they need to lose 50 pounds. And some people, it's just about hitting further goals. It's okay to contact somebody if you're even trying to lose 5 pounds or 10 pounds, or just maintain, you know what I mean, or do a better job at that. So I think that the fitness industry is kind of flawed in that it's like, unless you're like, we have shows on NBC or ABC or whatever, the Biggest Loser, and like I think that gets people's in their
Yeah.
minds, where they're like, unless I don't need somebody unless I'm obese, for lack of better terms. And that's not the case. Sometimes it's just, about living a healthy life.
Exactly. And I find too, like, and that's why it's like, it's so much what I do is lifestyle kind of changes. And if you can nail that stuff, you can optimize, your sleep and water and just good nutrition and moving your body a little bit. The physique goals come. I mean, the body comes, it'll happen, but you got to implement these things, right, to get there.
Of course.